Hello and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, the Story Screen podcast where we see new movies and talking about the movies with you, the listener. My name's Robbie. I'm the hostess with the mostest this day. I'm joined by Jack Kolajetsky. How you doing?
I'm great, Robbie. How are you?
I'm good. Just ready to do the movie thing.
I would say I'm very nice.
I would also say I'm very nice. Hot Takes, Story Screen Podcast, you know the deal. Wherever you're listening to this, show us some love. If you have the capacity to like us on a thing, give us a like. And if you're interested in more of our content, go to StoryScreenBeacon.com to see all of our stuff, including showtimes for our theater and a whole bunch of other shit. But today we're talking about probably the most important movie of 2020. It's inarguable. Is that fair to say?
The most dramatic, the most influential, the most it's everything. It's
everything.
It's the new Star Wars.
We're seeing Star Wars. Very nice episode. Now we're seeing Borat 2.
It's Borat 2. It's the sequel to Borat.
Or is it Borat subsequent movie film? Is that?
Yeah, if you want to get technical, sure.
If you want to get technical. Yeah, so we watched Borat, the sequel. Jack, are you a Borat Uno fan? Do you like?
Yeah. I mean, I watched Borat, when I was in probably a sophomore in high school, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty funny back then. I honestly have not gone back and watched the original Borat since probably.
What about a Sacha Baron Cohen fan? Did you watch Ali G show? Did you watch when he did Borat stuff? Okay.
No, I didn't. I never really watched the Ali G show. I watched a little bit of that newer show that he did. What was it? Last year?
Is it This Is America?
Yeah.
I hadn't watched that. I saw some of the clips and they were very funny.
Yeah. That show I think was hit or miss. There was some pretty. Who is America? 2018.
Who is America?
Yeah. Gotcha. Who is America? There's some funny clips in there, and there were some less funny clips in there. It was kind of hit or miss, but yeah. I'll put it this way: I respect what Sacha Baron Cohen does. I think he's definitely puts himself out there and tries some pretty zany shit. And I think when it hits good.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I actually rewatched Borat before watching this movie because I figured there might be some sequel-y things in there. I didn't want to be totally lost. And I also it's been so long since I've seen Borat, and Borat, it has, as you and the listeners know, Borat has pierced the cultural consciousness for many years now. We still say things like "very nice," "my wife," all these things that are strange and potentially insensitive, and we all say them.
It's hard to argue that a lot of people would recognize Borat or know who Borat is. He's pretty ubiquitous culturally.
It would be very hard to argue. It's incredible that maybe some people don't know who Borat is enough so where you could make another Borat movie.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but I think this new movie, part of why it works is it's conscious of all that.
Yeah, there's creative solutions there.
Yes.
Rewatched Borat 1. Really liked it. Really,
still holds up.
I think it still holds up. And it really now a lot of it doesn't go over my head. When I was watching it as a kid, it's I was talking about it with Mike today, and he was just he's I'm excited for Borat 2, but I'm excited for the people who will watch it who won't get what the movie's about, because that really happened with Borat 1, where there's a lot of people being they're making fun of Jews. I also like making fun of Jews. It's I don't think that's the point of what he's doing.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
You missed out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really what he's trying to do. Jewish man Sacha Baron Cohen. He's trying, his whole thing is to expose these really terrible things about exclusively Americans, it seems like, and that's kind of the thing about Borat that's so interesting and kind of I think makes it beyond just a funny movie where he kind of pulls pranks on people, where it's very much about exposure and exposing racism and other really bad things.
Yeah, he plays a character that leans so hard into that bigotry that is played comically because he's like so over the top with it, but he finds people who are down with it, and like the joke is always on them, you know. Which, you know, you've already seen people react to this movie. Those people don't like when the joke is on them. And they maybe don't like to be exposed for how creepy or shitty or racist or intolerant they might be.
And it sounds like it's their problem, not mine.
But I think the other thing about this movie that I like, without speaking to specifics, is that it also gives room for people who are genuinely kind and nice.
That's true.
And it does highlight those people as well. And from a character perspective for Borat, like the thing that I think surprised me the most about this movie is I did feel actually it was like pretty like sweet and pretty emotionally resonant, aside from, you know, just pointing the finger and laughing at you know, particularly the right or or, you know, people living in red states in the United States. Like, it does leave room for some tenderness and some genuine kindness and empathy. And like, I did not expect that to kind of be in a Borat movie. And I think a huge part of that is Maria Bakalova, who plays his daughter Tudor in this movie.
Incredible.
She stole the show.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, that's entirely by design. So yeah, you know, the first half of Hot Takes, if it's your first time listening, we won't spoil the movie until we'll tell you when we start spoiling. It'll be about like 20 minutes from now. And we'll give you the warning. I'll clap and call like a bird.
But I will say, you probably know at the top whether you want to watch this movie or not, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, we're not going to convince anybody.
If you haven't seen it, you listen to this, just go see Borat. It's great. And if you were like, I don't think I really like Borat, it's like, I don't really know if I like you.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
I'm saying it. I'm saying it, man. You don't like Borat? You don't fuck with my man's Borat? I'll fuck with you.
All right, fair enough. Ooh,
I'm out.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, in your heart of hearts, if you want to watch Borat or not, a sequel to Borat, like, just go for it. Why not?
The thing that really wowed me about this movie is its core narrative. Like, it's plot that is, and both movies do this. Like, there's like a narrative that is weaving together all of these insane antics.
Right.
I think Borat 2's like core narrative, and it's because of his daughter being a character as well. I just think is splendid. I think it's such a good story.
It surprised me in that way. Yeah, it's not just and that's maybe what didn't work as well with Who Was America. Is those were kind of just a lot more like stunts, you know, tied together with a loose narrative cohesion. And Borat 2 really actually like delivers on. And again, that's what I was talking about. Like, there's some sweet moments that are nice between these characters.
Yeah, I was really impressed with like how good Borat is, like, just as a movie,
right?
You know, because Borat, you know, one, it ends up being him being like, you know, they're trying to make this documentary, and then he's like, oh, I got to find Pamela Anderson, and that's like, you know, it's fun, but it's pretty loose tissue to kind of like hold everything together. Whereas this movie, it's like, it's really strong how they do it, and yeah, I really, you know, it cannot be said enough. How good Maria Bakalova?
I would say probably Bakalova.
Her character name in the movie is
Baklava.
Baklava. She is so good in this movie, and you'd think that like who could rival Sacha Baron Cohen's like straight man, like in character antics, and she really meets it head on. If not,
she goes toe to toe with him. Like, Sacha Baron Cohen obviously has been doing these kind of like stunts for many years, and it's kind of his whole thing. And she just comes out of ostensibly nowhere and just shows him up. Not even shows him up. They work off of each other, but she holds her own so well in the scenes where it's just her as well. And we'll talk about this. Probably you already know what we're gonna talk about if you've even heard of this movie, but like,
yeah, for sure,
she holds her own in some, let's say, treacherous situations.
arguably more treacherous than like anything I've seen Sacha Baron Cohen in. Like maybe the rodeo scene in the first movie. Like those people seem like they wanted blood. You know what I mean? They're pretty tight when he sung the Kazakhstan national anthem. But,
I've seen a couple behind the scenes things thus far, and he puts himself in some places where some people are very pissed off at him.
Yeah, I believe it, and this is it's no different here. But yeah, his Tutar is
she's great.
It's such a good character. Yeah, I was really impressed. There's a lot of things that are already out there about Borat if you haven't seen it yet. So I don't want to break into.
Let's not mention those until the spoiler section.
Yeah, just in case, because in case you have missed it, then you'll be surprised.
Then the surprise will be amazing.
Yeah, because I got some things spoiled for me going into this movie, and I still had a great time watching it. But I do wish I was like, I wish I didn't know this thing.
For me, that particular thing, if we're talking about the same thing, and I'm 99.9% sure we're talking about the same thing, because it was kind of all over Twitter like the day before Borat came out.
That one I'm not as mad about getting spoiled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
there's some other little things where I was like, ooh, and also I knew the placement of where that was in the movie. That was a little bit of a bummer.
Okay.
Also, the movie has a twist. And that got spoiled for me, which I was very bummed about.
That's a bummer. That twist was very good. Okay.
Especially seeing, I was just like, they do it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, some of the things, one thing in particular that happens near the climax of the movie was kind of like the show them the bomb effect for me, because I knew it was coming, and that made like the sense of dread that much more effective for me, because I knew where it was going to wind up, and I was just kind of holding my breath the whole time.
I don't think there's anything that could take the wind out of that scene's sails. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's no amount of like, what's going to happen. It's just like, it's still like one of the craziest fucking things I've seen in the movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure.
For me, it was like journey's not the destination. I was like, I'm still fucking shocked by all of this.
I still enjoyed it. I'll say that much.
Yeah, enjoyed's a word. Do you have any other kind of like spoiler-free takes?
This movie is very much made for this very specific moment. They released it at the exact same time as the final presidential debate between Trump and Biden. Yeah. This movie is very much about this election. It is very much wearing its kind of political heart on its sleeve. And it is very direct in that way.
Yeah, unlike the first one, maybe, where like this one's kind of like, it's gonna be kind of hard to misinterpret what we're doing here.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the first one, from what I remember, they kind of just put Borat in those situations and let the people that he was kind of poking fun at, like, basically do the work for him, the heavy lifting. There are a lot of like jokes in this movie that are directly pointed at specific people, specifically, people in the Trump administration, which is fair because there are a lot of things to be critical and make fun of in that whole situation. But some of that stuff like was a little bit like on the nose for me, mostly because I'm like way too online. I'm just terminally online, so I kind of see those jokes all the time already, so they're a little bit stale. Yeah. Like I say, they get to like SNL level of that kind of political humor, but
no, I think there's still nuance. It's not like the common lowest denominator of how to make fun of like this administration,
Yeah. It's still mostly pretty funny, but some of that stuff where it was like directly in that, it's some of it worked better for me than other stuff.
Sure, I was pretty like thoroughly entertained the whole time. I also like, if I can, and this is true of like any comedy movie, if I can see a comedic film and it's like really good, I let myself very much get strapped into it. It's hard, once it gets me in there, it's hard for me to get out. But the thing is, doing funny movies is hard, so I don't always get strapped in. Like, Palm Springs took a minute to get me in, and now it's like one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah,
I love Palm Springs.
I definitely Palm Brings is good. I liked it quite a bit too. I definitely had some hearty chuckles during this movie. There are some very good bits, and we'll talk about those bits in the spoiler section. But
I'm curious, and maybe you have like a unique perspective on this. You know, your partner, your wife is
my wife.
Is from the UK. What's her like relationship with Borat? And because Borat's like it's very much like poking at Americans. You know?
Yeah. I think she's kind of in the same boat. She actually did not watch this with me.
Okay.
So she had seen like the original Borat like way back in the day, kind of, but isn't like, I don't think she thinks twice about Borat really. I think she probably would have gotten a laugh out of this movie as well.
This seems up her alley.
I wanted to watch this movie pretty much immediately because I did not have any interest in watching the debate. And I kind of wanted to watch it right away in fear of having anything spoiled for me because, as I said, I am terminally online and people talked about this movie a lot. That was I think the thing for me is like it was a very much a movie of that very exact specific moment. And the next 2 weeks, I would say if this podcast comes out before the election, probably watch this movie before the election. It'll be funnier, probably.
Hopefully
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's like a very time. And I think the stuff with Borat and his daughter in this movie will hold up on the long term, but maybe less so some of the like direct political jokes in there might not be as timeless.
We'll see. I think that's the hard thing with Borat. I mean, the thing about the first Borat is that it really feels like a movie it's all about like being a post 9/11 society, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the first Borat's really tackling, and it's kind of like trying to uncover the like the rampant racism that really arose after 9/11 and like the anti-Semitism, the xenophobia. Yep. Whereas this movie's kind of like it's doing that, but it's more of just kind of like showing the ridiculously of the far right and
Trump's America.
Like it's like theater of the absurd,
right.
Up in here, and it's done very well. I cannot say enough nice things about this movie because it does feel very timely. It feels important. It reminds me of I watched the documentary earlier a few months ago called Feels Good Man, and I did the podcast with young Jeremy.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that.
That's that's also up there as like one of my faves this year, and like it's another movie that feels very like timely. It feels very important. It's something that it feels like it's not that you can't watch it 2-3 years from now, whatever hellscape we exist in, but just like it has the most impact watching it now, and that's the thing about Borat. But I do think also like the things that Borat like covers and criticizes and shines light on, like because it's very much about a specific time, like I think its age factor is kind of up in the air, like a fine line, perhaps.
I don't know how important I would say this movie is, just because I think if you're watching this movie or you're just existing right now in late October 2020, you probably have already made up your mind one way or another. I don't know if this is going to convince anybody. It might. Maybe. But I think it's probably, it's decidedly already like, made up its political mind and direction. And it does absolutely portray, especially the right in Trump's America for, the absurdism that it really is. But I don't know if this is going to swing any undecided voters. But I also can't fathom an undecided voter right now either. So
that's true. So it could be any gust of wind that pushes them over the edge.
Whether you watched Borat 2 or you watched the debate, it probably had equally as likely chance of swaying your vote one way or another.
I think Borat 2 has more bullets in the chamber that would sway you, other than the debate.
Well, I mean,
but I don't know.
All the debates are a waste of time because they don't actually talk about any policy. They just scream at each other. But
yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I like Borat too. I like Borat too. I think Borat 2 is a good movie. It's wild. I mean, the movie's rowdy. It's rowdy. It's a rowdy fucking movie.
Yep, it's a rowdy, rambunctious time. Let's say.
Mm-hmm. I really, and it just, it's great. I like Sacha Baron Cohen as an actor. I've seen him in many things.
Sure, he's a good actor.
He's one of the best.
He's a very good actor.
And it's just crazy that but when he's Borat, he's Borat. Like it's really like Sacha Baron Cohen leaves the building, and it's just it never ceases to amaze me. Yep, it's so good.
It is good.
All right. Anything else before we break into spoilies, Jack?
I'm ready. I'm ready for spoilies.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We really like Borat. It's the most important movie of the year. If you've seen it already, come with us to the spoiler zone where we talk about who dies and who dies. We'll be right back.
It's America. America is dying.
We are The Walking Dead.
Oh.
And we're back with the spoilies for Borat 2. Can you spoil Borat? I'd wait you to say yes. I'd wait you to say yes, you can.
I think you had it spoiled for you. You said that.
I did. I got the... So we're in spoiler zone. So if you haven't seen the movie...
Turn back now.
Get the fuck out of here. So the coronavirus twist at the end...
Great.
I found out right before I watched it. I was like,
no.
Fuck. I was like, that's really funny.
I was really excited when the turn came. That was, I thought that the Giuliani thing was going to be the big
you think
scene,
that's the thing.
And it was pretty good, but the coronavirus twist was very funny. Brilliant. I enjoyed that a lot.
Okay, the next biggest thing. This is Borat. We gotta talk about the biggest things.
Hold on. The coronavirus twist. They filmed this and wrote this and put this out ostensibly before everybody in the Trump administration came down with coronavirus, which to me made it even funnier. That they did this
right before. Yeah.
Yes. And within a couple weeks of launching this movie, unless they were, editing this movie up until the final hour, I don't know.
But I think they could have been.
I have no idea.
The thing about this movie is it seems like there was... Because the thing about this movie, listening to this right now, this podcast, this movie just came out of the ether and just all of a sudden it's Borat 2 is coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes.
It's wait, what? There's not only is there a Borat 2, it's coming out now.
Yeah.
And it seems like they filmed it after 15 years of not existing or having any hopes of a second one. Sacha Baron Cohen's been secretly filming it for he could have only been shooting it for what, 6 months?
Well,
or I don't know.
I remember hearing, stuff about the concert that he did. I remember hearing that Sacha Baron Cohen was at a concert in Texas, I think it was. I remember hearing him be at the GOP convention. And that stunt where he dressed up as Trump, I heard about that as well. So you over the last year, it's stuff or whatever, you heard little things about Sacha Baron Cohen getting up to some stuff. I had no idea because he's not dressed as Borat in any of this that meant that those stunts were a new Borat movie.
A Borat thing.
So that was still a fun surprise.
Yeah, I mean, so the movie is very much about and it's surprising. It's very much about it's about politics right now, but it's very much about coronavirus. When he does you've seen it in the trailer. I guess you're in spoilers, so you've seen the movie, but the scene where he is trying to give Tudor to Michael Pence, that's in the trailer, and
Michael Pence.
that had to only been in March, right? when coronavirus first really started
Oh yeah, when was the RNC?
Because at that point he's there's only he's fucking lying, but he's saying it's still early in when this is all going on, and we went into lockdown March 15th or something like that, maybe a little bit later.
That was August 24th in Charlotte, North Carolina.
So they just shouldn't have been doing that.
They should not. No. No, they should not have done that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They shouldn't have had that concert either.
No. Shouldn't have done any of those things.
No.
The Rudy Giuliani scene.
Okay. Yep.
Is he tucking in his shirt?
Okay. I'm going to put on my Mythbusters hat.
And before we go any further, let me clarify. Whether he's tucking in his shirt or not is not what makes what's going on. It doesn't absolve him of any weirdness, right?
Yes.
Like he's being a fucking weirdo and a piece of shit the entire time. We're talking about like what the icing on the pedophile cake is.
Yes.
It's like, oh, is it strawberry? Is it vanilla? It's still pedophile cake.
In the moment.
Yes.
And in the entirety of the scene, just to set this up again, this is kind of like the climax of the movie. Right. The entire idea is that Borat has come to the United States to present Trump with a is it a chimp or a monkey? They only show it pretty briefly.
the best actor in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's a monkey. I don't know. I didn't really think about it.
Just to earn favor with the Trump administration, and Borat has to do this because of the damage that he did to Kazakhstan with his first movie.
Yes.
Which again, like the way that this movie plays with the fallout and the like cultural reverberations of the first Borat being as huge as it was is very funny. Do we want to talk about that first before we want to work our way up to the Giuliani scene? Because like that's the big thing, man.
I know, but I it's the thing that people want.
Well, okay. Before that though, like the fact that Borat turns up in the United States and immediately is pestered on the street.
Yeah.
Is very funny.
Yeah, and it also we'd assume that this would happen. We were like, this is why we haven't gotten another Borat. This is why we haven't gotten another Borat. And he's even said, cheeky enough, he's just like, I can't do more Borat. Like it would be impossible.
Right.
And he was kind of right to a certain extent, even though he still Borats around some places that people have no fucking idea.
Right. I mean, he's found. I have to assume that they recruited Nathan Fielder for this movie to find the kind of people that would just live under. Like Nathan Fielder is good at overturning those rocks and finding the people who just have no idea of what's going on. And some of those scenes are the scenes where he can actually be Borat. Like one of my favorite bits in the whole movie is the fax guy.
Oh my God, the fax. He's like, I'm not gonna die. And he's like, yeah.
And great. That guy's just down for everything.
He's chill.
He's down for it all. And that is very funny.
Non-judgmental, this guy.
So the fact that they have to dress him up for the majority of the movie in these like crazy costumes is really funny. I mean, the part at the RNC where he walks in. He plays Hitman by walking in with his KKK uniform and then switches to Trump in the bathroom. Good stuff. It's good stuff.
It's great. And again, he's really he's a master of what he does.
Yes, a master of disguise.
I was wondering, do you think that some of his his Borat, his character within a character again, and that's another like stroke of brilliance on his part, where he's being Borat
playing another
disguise.
Character. Yes,
like Sacha Baron Cohen's like. Not only did Sacha Baron Cohen like leave the building in this like husk of what his human body used to be, he went on vacation.
He went another layer deeper.
He's gone. Yeah,
he's gone deeper.
He's gone deeper.
I like his denim tuxedo character very much.
Oh, is it like John Chevrolet?
Yeah. Yes. Something like that.
It's so good. Just seeing him just be that is incredible. I also like, I'm watching it and it's because like I'm the audience member and I'm seeing how this is all unfolding. Like I was like, I don't even know if these disguises are that good.
No, but I guess not. That's why it's so funny.
Yeah, it's like the thing is like it doesn't mean that like he's Borat in disguise. It's just like he's just I don't know what the fuck.
Like this is clearly a man in a wig and a fake mustache
and like a fat suit or something.
It's very obvious, but that makes it even funnier.
Mm-hmm. And then
if you point a camera in people's direction, they'll go along with the ride just for that small chance that they get a little slice of fame.
A lot of times that is true. They'll play along. Yeah, we mentioned it in the spoiler-free section, but the introduction of Tudor, I think is what makes this movie fresh and not feel kind of derivative of the first one.
Yes.
Because I had some hesitancy. It's like, oh, they're introducing this new character. Like, I don't know, is she going to be as? And the thing is, like, she had to. If she wasn't like as good, if not better, I don't want to say if better, but like, if she wasn't like meeting where Sacha Baron Cohen was as this like deep undercover character,
right,
method actor thing, it would have been like, oh, it doesn't feel strong, but she just fucking nails it.
She's so good.
And even when you see her doing, and you really start to see it when she's later in the movie where she's doing her own scenes on her own.
Right, when she's on her own. Yeah, absolutely. You're just like,
fuck, she's amazing. She's
when she goes to that women's Republican group, like that is very good. And then when she is alone in a room, well, not alone, there's a camera crew, but like when she's with Giuliani, like that is she give this girl an Oscar. Like she's
give her an Academy Award, please. Like who else is doing that? Like come on. It's really amazing. I think the other, there's many scenes that are shocking, but it's not debutante ball, but like the gentleman. Like,
oh my god!
Like teaching you
the father-daughter dance is
dude, that shit is crazy.
That is probably the actual funniest scene in that movie.
Yeah, and that's the one that like now that didn't get spoiled or anything for me at all.
Yeah.
But
just seeing it unfold, and especially when she tells him, like, I like the way they phrase this too, like, my moon blood has arrived. And she's wearing that dress, like, and you're just like, oh boy,
let's do the fertility dance.
Yeah,
it's like the whole time you're like, there's no way they're gonna show.
Oh yeah,
right? There's just no way. And you're like, oh, there it is. That's the craziest shit I've ever seen. And then the one guy where he's like, how much would you pay for my daughter? And he's $500.
They all
and his daughter was like, that's disgusting.
That's the thing is, we said this at the beginning. Borat exposes the absurdity of it by like getting them to say it themselves. When they go to the plastic surgeon, and he's like, would you sex attack my daughter? Like right in front of him. And he tells this guy that this girl is 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, if your father wasn't in the room, and it's like, holy shit. It's like, no wonder people are turn around and are so mad when they find out like that this is a Borat thing, because they expose their whole ass on their own, and he barely has to say anything to them. They just do it themselves.
Yeah, like what are you gonna sue him on? Like entrapment? It's just like, maybe just don't say fucking terrible shit.
Maybe don't be gross when there's a camera in the room with you. I don't know.
Between some of our favorite shows, the Nathan Fielders, the Eric Andres, and the Sacha Baron Cohens, people just ain't never gonna learn, man.
No.
They're just not gonna learn.
Nope.
They just don't get it, man. Like they're just like, this is my time to shine.
Yeah.
The rules don't matter. There's a camera here. It's like, no, the rules matter. Like,
maybe behave when there's a full camera crew and a man obviously dressed in like a pretty low rent disguise. Maybe behave.
Maybe.
You never know.
I also the scene, it's like Johnny Chevrolet, his character, and he's singing the song at the I don't know if I can know, the super spreader event
the concert,
yeah, and then people are doing like the Nazi salute and stuff there. Yep. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know, man. You guys want to be lumped in with these people? That's what you fucking want? Like,
that is the scene that I guess he maybe took it too far, or people figured it out, because there is a video clip that Sacha Baron Cohen posted on Twitter like either today or yesterday, where like he says like filming this movie was not always easy, and it shows them like basically locking themselves in the trailer, like him running off that stage and them locking themselves in the trailer, and people like basically assaulting his trailer and trying to rip the door open, and Sacha Baron Cohen himself is like has his feet up on the wall and is holding the door to the trailer so it does not get ripped open.
That's fucking nuts.
So, He pissed some people off in this movie, and it's
I
safe
mean,
to
these
say,
people
like,
are prone to violence, so
yeah, when the Secret Service escorts him out of the Republican National Convention, he stepped in some shit. But
Michael Pence, Mikal Pence looks so mad.
Yep.
In that scene, and it's delicious. Like, give me a plate of that every day, please.
Yes.
But I was just like, damn, that's some bad shit. That's like Hitler getting mad at the fucking Olympics like footage, like yes. that's some like in history shit. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's at the concert, he definitely pisses some people off. And then leading into that scene is him with his I forget their names, but they're some nice Republicans. They have some bad views, they're soft. I don't know. Like,
some QAnon followers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like had no idea who Borat was, and Borat, like, how long do you think he actually like stayed with them?
It was 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they became best buds.
I guess so, man. They that's the thing. Like, this movie is full of a lot of people who are just very down for whatever is going on.
Yeah. But they ended up being kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
it seemed like their hearts were in the right place.
I mean, they were kind to a person. Let's say that.
That is true. Fair enough.
I also want to talk about two other scenes.
Yeah.
One scene where he dresses up and goes to the synagogue. Oh. He dresses up as the evil Jew stereotype and goes into the synagogue.
That scene was so good.
That was a nice scene because that woman. So here's the funny thing is, so the elderly woman in that scene has like this heart to heart with him that is like pivotal to the plot of the movie, and it's kind of amazing that it just played out that way because she is the one to just like kind of put things in perspective for Borat and him to like sort of open up to some ideas that are different from those that he had held previously. And apparently that woman has since unfortunately passed away.
No.
Yeah. And
that's so sad.
Her daughter was, when she found out that scene was part of a Borat production, was very mad and felt very betrayed by the whole thing. Which, like, okay, but at the same time,
it's a really good. No one's gonna watch that scene and be like, "Oh, he really pulled a fast one on that lady."
She's a hero because she was herself, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like just showed kindness to this person and was able to like mend his heart in a way. Like, she looked awesome in that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that scene is incredible.
But that woman is suing Amazon now.
Oh, that's just strange. I mean, I'm not here to tell, the daughter of this woman how to feel or what
especially
to do because,
she's since passed away.
That's your business. You it's your family. I don't know. Would I feel different if it was like my mom on the big screen in that way? I don't know. I might be.
I mean, if my mom showed that level of kindness to someone who was clearly there to fuck with her, I would be proud if nothing else.
That's probably like one of the sweetest, tenderest moments in the movie, if not many movies.
Well, that one, and then the second one I want to talk about is the babysitter. Yeah, that Borat leaves Tudor with, who she also has a very pivotal role in the movie because she's the one who is able to convince Tudor, like, you have independence as a woman. Yeah. You don't need plastic surgery. You don't need to be sold off to a man if you don't want to be. You have choice and agency in this. And that's a really cool turning point for her character as well. And like, that is a real woman. That is just a regular person who thought she was being filmed for some other kind of... I actually have the article up here because I saw this article. Mm-hmm. Her name is Jeansy Jones, and she was told basically that she had no idea she was part of a Borat movie, but she thought she was part of a documentary about child brides. So she actually thought that Tudor was being groomed to be a child bride. And she said that she like worried about her for like months after the fact. Like, she didn't find out that it was for a Borat film for a very long time, and she was like worried sick about this poor girl like the whole time. And they only paid her something like $9,000. Oh, sorry, $3,600 is what the Borat production paid Gene T. Jones, who I would argue is one of like the stars of the movie. Right,
I think so. She also she is trying to help Tudor, but also kind of giving her like the freedom to make her own choice at the end of the day. Right. When it's like clearly in the context that she knows is a terrible idea. Right.
Yeah, and she just has great on-screen chemistry. Like she's just herself, obviously, but she's like it feels very natural in the scene, and she really works. And like again, it's really a turning point for the movie. But since then. The pastor of her church, I guess, set up a GoFundMe page, and that has already raised like $70,000. So,
oh wow.
So, so she's gotten her payday now, and probably will continue to get more money going in. Yeah.
She seems like a very sweet, genuine person for sure.
Yeah. If anything, Amazon could have coughed up more than $3,600 for.
I mean, considering all the money they spent on all the other shit they're doing in the movie, right?
Yeah, considering the amount of money that they have.
Well, yeah, also true.
But Amazon could pay a lot of people a lot more money than they're currently paying them.
Agreed. You hear that, Bezos? Coming for you.
Fucking get with it.
We're coming for
Jeff.
you, Bezos. You little fuck. Please don't take away my Prime subscription, please. What are some other less sweet moments, but sweet chocolate cake? When he was like, "Can I get the Jews will not replace this cake?" And that woman,
oh my god, the cake scene
down. She's just like, "All right, cool."
Yep, no problem.
It was just like,
gotcha.
What?
Yes,
that's crazy. That shit runs deep, dog.
Yeah, it sure does.
And then the baby scene. He put the baby inside me.
Is very funny.
Is fucking awesome.
Yes, I laughed.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we could sit here and just name all the scenes in Borat, but like,
and I
had a good time watching it. But I mean, I think that brings us to the Rudy Giuliani scene.
Yes. All right.
So
shirt tuck or not, man.
Okay, so 2 days before this movie came out, like those pictures leaked online, which is like a genius stroke of marketing to like put that out online.
I mean, if you have it in the chamber, why not?
Yes,
you gotta use it, right?
the specific screenshots that they posted definitely were. I mean, he's laying flat on his back with a woman in the room with his hand fully down his pants.
Very down his pants. So
that was a fun 48 hours just discussing that photograph up until the movie coming out, and partially why I did not hesitate to put this movie on and watch this movie.
Yeah.
So at that point, by the time I had seen the movie, the Giuliani team or whatever the fuck had already released their statement that she had removed his microphone and that he was tucking his shirt back in, right?
Yeah.
So this is where I'm going to put my Mythbusters hat back on. That is plausible. However, within the context of that scene, and again, is the moment elevated through the magic of cinema and movie making and editing and sound? Yes, of course. But is it inarguable that Rudy Giuliani was being a massive fucking creep and probably was just kind of going along with it and seeing what happens, and the way he removes her microphone as well? There was some inappropriate touching going on in that scene.
Yeah, even if he doesn't think that she's 15 years old or whatever. Sure,
right.
Fucking whatever.
Who knows? Probably not.
Yeah, who knows? But
the actress is 24 years old.
Sure.
Just for the record.
But regardless, he's being super creepy with her.
He's being
the
gross.
entire time. And the thing is, is she egging him on to be this way? Yes. But that doesn't mean that his ways that he's acting is justified. That's not what that translates to.
And I mean, it's not a secret that Rudy Giuliani is a piece of shit. He just is a wildly nasty person.
He was a piece of shit before any of this happened. He's going to die a piece of shit. That's just the way it is.
He's not going to be convicted of anything from this scene. But does he look like an asshole? For sure. Did he get caught literally with his hand down his pants? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, Okay, so like when I saw the clip, I think I saw a clip even before this movie came out, but the clips and the screenshots, to me, I was just like, tuck in your shirt. I mean, sure. Yeah, I don't fucking think so.
He was not, it did not look like he was jerking his penis. I'll say
that. No. But like, he
might have grazed it a little.
I'm sure he didn't hate the touches.
He maybe was fluffing it up a little bit just to see where things went. But.
And yeah, I think though, seeing it in its full context, it's a little bit more questionable what's going on in those pants. I mean, have I ever seen a human being tuck their shirt in quite like that?
No, certainly not.
And
would I try and do that around
another person?
Yeah, with a camera crew in the room.
And it's not like his pants are like super tight. He gets his entire hand in it.
No, he really goes.
He really gets it in there.
He goes all the way down.
You know,
he was being gross. There's no question about that.
Yeah,
and it's the funny thing for me is like when Sacha Baron Cohen barges in the room and immediately says, "No, Rudy, she's 15. She's too old for you." A, that's a very funny line.
That's great. Yeah.
B, like, he was sitting in the other room watching what was going on.
Yeah.
And had to make the judgment call of like,
this is going to go too
far. Do I let this play out for another 5 seconds? Or if I do let this play out for another 5 seconds, is it going to go too far where like, at the least, I won't be able to actually release this footage because there will probably be some sort of active litigation.
Yeah, I think it's the right amount. That's I think he went in at the right time because it's also like for the safety of of his co-star as well. Yeah, yes. It's like get in there, man. Like sign up for that. So like I think that it's the right amount of. Yeah, it's not a question. The question that scene raises is not like, is he jerking off? It's more of like, it's not raising. It's more of the statement that's just like, no, he'll do. If you had a young daughter who was trying to become this like next YouTube sensation, if you had a daughter who's trying to be the next gun girl, you don't want her to be alone with former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. And that's just it.
No.
And, that's not the kind of people you want running this country, Dad. So take that to the fucking
preference.
bank.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And then that's
Borat 2.
That's Borat 2. Then we find out he releases coronavirus.
Yes, and then he was it was a direct ploy by the Kazakhstan government to get back at everybody, which is just
fucking
too fucking funny.
Brilliant. Yeah. And I think the thing that Borat
more
2,
like Plandemic, am I right?
Hey, I bet you after election day it's gonna go away.
I would be fine with that. I don't think it's true.
I also don't think that. Yeah, this movie's crazy. And again, like I really like just like the core, the 3-act structure narrative of the adventure he has with his daughter is great. It's really good. And that's the thing that I think the movie does like really much better than Borat 1. Because like a lot of the goose and gags in Borat 1, like, you can't try and top them because they're amazing. They're timeless.
Sure.
They're pierced into the cultural consciousness. And this movie really, that we see with a lot of movies, all you need to do is have a daughter, and all of a sudden the movie's gonna be really good, and it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
Just have the father-daughter relationship. You're right. That is definitely what anchors this movie, and really makes it shine, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's Borat 2.
That's Borat 2.
Jack, you watching anything else good?
I mean, I've been watching a lot of spooky movies. I don't know what the last one I talked about.
Did you watch Sputnik?
No, what is that?
Sputnik it's a Russian film. You can rent it on Amazon, and it's a action horror movie. It's kind of like riffing on Alien, and has like a little bit of Arrival vibes.
Okay.
But it's really cool. I recommend watching it. It's a nice like hour and a half long movie, or maybe it's like 2 hours. It's not that long, but
okay.
It's good. It's in Russian. It looks really cool. It doesn't quite go there in certain places that I'd really like, but it's a really fun action horror movie that I recommend. I thought that was cool.
I actually watched a movie last night that was very surprising to me. Mm-hmm. So there's this dude on Twitch, shout outs Bakun. He streams movies from time to time. Mm-hmm. Almost every night actually. So he's been streaming like a lot of he does the Amazon Prime watch party sort of thing. Funny thing about Borat actually. So I watched Borat with a couple friends over Discord. And with Jeremy. Jeremy was supposed to be on this podcast, but unfortunately he couldn't make it last minute. But we watched it over Discord and had a good time. And then immediately afterwards, I noticed that Bakun was streaming Borat and was like maybe a little less than halfway through. And so I watched it basically again. Yeah, I pretty much watched Borat 2 twice in a row.
I want to watch it again.
So last night he streamed a movie at like 2:00 in the morning called District B13, otherwise sometimes called as District 13. It is a French movie that is like part Fast and Furious, kind of part The Transporter, and then part like sort of almost like social commentary District 9-esque sort of thing. So and it's a French movie.
This sounds like it could be good or bad.
It seems like it's going to be really bad. Like everything about it like seems like, oh, this is like a very like kind of silly, just like the sort of just junk that you find on Amazon Prime. It's also from 2004. So it's like 16 years old at this point. That movie fucking rocked. I had such a good time watching that movie. I mean, part of it was probably the context of watching it in like a chat room with 30 other people at 3:00 in the morning.
Sure. But that's still probably pretty, I mean,
but it was cool, a good fucking time. Yeah. So maybe check that one out if you're looking for if you're disappointed that the Fast and the Furious movie was delayed this year, maybe check that one out.
What is the name of that movie again?
Pretty cool. District B13.
All right. Check it out, fam. Mm-hmm. I'll be watching some movies for the next John Stalking Carpenter episode that me and Mike do.
Yep.
And a movie that, many of John Carpenter's movies I've never seen, and now I've seen a lot of them. But one of the ones we're covering is a cool horror movie that's on Amazon Prime, included with your subscription. It's called Body Bags, and that movie is really fucking dope. I really liked it. It's
Body Bags.
It's called Body Bags. It was a direct-to-TV release movie. It is John Carpenter plays like a guy who like a morgue technician, and he's like being all creepy, and he's like super weird, and he's just like, ooh, let's like open up these body bags in this morgue, and he's like, this is how this guy died, and then it's like 3 short stories, and they're all really good.
This sounds cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's one of the it put me in the Halloween spirit.
Right.
And it's like a John Carpenter movie that, it went directly to TV, so maybe a lot of people haven't seen it.
Sure.
I recommend it.
Is this the one that Mike mentioned that he had not seen yet?
He hasn't seen Body Bags yet.
Okay.
I don't know if he's seen Body Bags. He will have seen it by tomorrow. We're also watching Elvis, not as spooky. That movie is really good, but 2.5 hours long, so that's hard.
That's pretty long.
Teen heartthrob Kurt Russell is 27 years old in that movie.
Wow, I'll watch that for 2.5 hours.
And fucking incredible.
Yeah,
he's
I bet.
So good in that movie. It's crazy. It's crazy as a John Carpenter. It's crazy. It's just very long. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. That's
cool.
Me.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jack, anything else on Borat or otherwise? You got?
I think I'm tapped out on old Borat. I think I've said what I gotta say.
All right. Well, thank you, Jack, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Robbie.
Of course. And thank you, listeners, for listening. As you may already know, and maybe you don't know, Story Screen is not the only podcast Story Screen is not the only...
Come on. How many episodes have we done?
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. Really, egg on my face.
Hey, Robbie, are there more podcasts besides Hot Takes?
Oh, boy, are there. We have a plethora of podcasts on StoryScreenBeacon.com.
Oh, do tell.
We have Catholic Greatcast. That's our TV podcast hosted by Bernard Gordon Wright. Right.
Oh, cool.
Right. We also have our members-only subscription service where we have even more content, where we have podcasts regarding Edgar Wright, we have podcasts regarding John Carpenter. We have many a thing on there, and it's only $5 a month.
And where can I find these podcasts?
StoryScreenBeacon.com. And you can also find our mainstream content on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever podcasts are found.
I've heard of those places. I've found podcasts at those places.
I've found a podcast. If you're going to some coffee shops, we made sleeves that have access that has a QR code that sends you right to podcasts, our
sleeves?
Podcasts.
For my
coffee
art?
sleeves, yeah.
Oh, for my coffee.
For your coffee.
That makes
sense.
sense.
You go. Not for your shirts. Hopefully you have those already.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. And we got other things. Go on our website. You can also buy some merch. You can buy a fucking t-shirt. You can also see our show times for our movies that we show at our mom and pop brick and mortar movie stop.
Mm-hmm.
So do all those things.